Hey folks, Harrison101 back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome back to Formula 1. Yeah, I know it's been a little while, but it's time to bring back the bread and butter of my channel. And of course, welcome to part 6 now, I think it is, of our F1 2012 career mode, as I head to Catalonia, sunny Spain, hometown of Fernando Alonso, Paella, and a good amount of Sambuca. Not that I drink or anything like that. And it's time for our 5th race of the season, and I don't know how to sum this one up. I qualified in 18th. I was knocked out in Q3 by Felipe Massa at the very last second, and he ended up finishing 3rd in the race. So he came from 18th to finish 3rd. I have no idea how he pulled that off. That Brazilian can really drive when he wants to. It's just crazy. But I must admit, I don't know how much I'm going to cut this down, because I always record my commentaries first and do my editing afterwards to fit the commentary. But you'll notice the second half of this race, I have a fantastic scrap with Mexico's own Sergio Perez on this one. And we just go back and forth, and we can't break each other, and we both just drive so hard. And Perez is determined to pass me, and I'm under immense pressure. And who comes over the line first, you'll have to wait and see. But I really enjoyed that one. I was concentrating so hard, I think my eyes were blacking out towards the end of it. I was so frozen in concentration that when I crossed the line and the race was over, I had to pull apart my own joints. I was like, oh, I had to grip things, and it was like, wow. I had to concentrate through all of that shit, and it was absolutely crazy. But I really enjoyed the race. It was a good result as well, and you'll see what I mean towards the end. Talking about the gameplay a little bit as well, I'm still not convinced about this game's difficulty ratings. I still say that Legend is too high, while Professional is maybe still a little bit too high. I think the patch is... I'm not sure, because I'm hearing differing opinions on all this, but it's clear that Legend is too high, because when you race on Legend, between me and a Toro Rosso and Hamilton up front is about 3 seconds a lap. That's ridiculous. That's not how real Formula 1 has been this season. There's no way the Toro Rossos are 3 seconds a lap slower than the McLarens. Professional makes a lot more sense. It's about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and I think even that is still a little bit much. Did co-masters not watch this season and realise that this was the most competitive and closely fought battle, mechanically, of the Formula 1 season, maybe ever? I mean, how many different teams won a race this year? 6 different teams won a race. Williams, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, and Lotus. All 6 of those teams won a race at some point this year. That's really annoying. And, yeah. I mean, I don't see how they make the gap so big. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you should make everybody equal, because that's just silly as well, but at the same time, the gap is not as big as what co-monsters are making it out. I mean, it was a very competitive season, and arguably one of the closest, mechanical seasons ever, so I don't see why the gap is so big, but that's a debate for another day. The big debate that stirred up in the last couple of days has been what I like to call Yellow Flag Gate. In that Ferrari were considering mounting an appeal against Sebastian Vettel and the Red Bull team for a supposed yellow flag when Sebastian Vettel passed Jean-Eric Vergne during his fantastic comeback through the field in Brazil the other day. And that was shot down this morning by the FIA, saying that Red Bull have got nothing to answer for. Why? Simply put, the marshal in that sector waved the green flag. So if a marshal waves a green flag in that sector, the whole sector is okay to pass in. And in Formula 1, the flags overrule any notice on drivers' dashboards. Or steering wheels, I think is the more technical term for it. It's not really more technical, but you get my idea. That basically, flags from marshals overrule dashboard signals. And then some were saying it was the red and yellow warning for a slippery track, which I think is completely ridiculous. I mean, if you're a Formula 1 driver, you should know when a track is slippery. If you don't know a track is slippery and you're in Formula 1, well, why are you in Formula 1 then? You know what I mean? These are meant to be the best drivers in the world. You should know when a track is slippery or not, and that's a bit silly, quite frankly. So I don't believe that for a second, but you know, people will come up with any argument, and I think there's been a lot of bias in these kind of things. I think Sky Sports are insinuating a lot of Alonso bias. I think BBC and Andrew Benson, their chief writer, has been up the bum of the McLaren team for most of the season. You know, he's constantly writing about Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button in some capacity, and it got really annoying as well. But you know, it was a silly, overhyped situation. There was no way that was going to hold up because there was too many conflicting reports. I think it was just Fernando Alonso and his sour grapes, because he was the one that was pushing Ferrari into an appeal. I mean, the guy wants to act all sportsmanlike and classy after the race, yet behind their backs when you watch the videos, they're going to be like, "Oh, appeal this guy, he's a cheat." And you know, he tweeted the other day in Spanish, and it was translated to, "I don't believe in miracles. I make my miracles on the track," clearly insinuating that Vettel cheated. And I've lost quite a bit of respect for Fernando Alonso because it's clear he has some sour grapes. You know, does anyone want to see an F1 title settled in a courtroom? I don't. What happened on the track should stay on the track. And, you know, I don't like seeing unsportsmanlike things like that taking place. I know it's the nature of Formula One, and that's just how it is more than anything else, but I don't find it any less annoying. I mean, it's just the political influence on this sport, something that this sport has had for years and years and years, but never seems to go away. I don't like how the politics in Formula One, or in any sport, works for that matter. The NFL, I hate some of the politics in there. As a football fan, some of the politics involved with the FA and UEFA and things like the John Terry racism scandal, that was all bullshit as well at the same time. So, you know, it happens a lot in sport, and it's never a good thing. It's never a good thing to have this kind of corruption or anything like that in a sport. And one more thing I want to talk about as well. A lot of people asked me. A lot of people ask me, who would I vote for if I was taking part in the Harry Awards? And in case you missed it, there's an annotation in this video. Click it. It will take you to the Harry Awards video where I go through all the nominations. And somebody said to me, if I was voting, who would I vote for in these categories? And I thought, okay, I'll answer this. Don't let me influence any of you guys when you vote, though. You guys are your own people. You have your own opinions. And I'm sure, well, why am I even saying this? Half of you guys disagree with what I have to say anyway. So, I don't think how I'm going to vote is going to matter too much, but for those people asking me, driver of the season, I would vote for, well, I mean, the nominations were Alonso, Raikkonen, Vettel, and Hamilton. Hamilton was extremely unlucky, but unfortunately he was just too far back anyway. Sebastian Vettel's a contender, Kimi Raikkonen's a contender, Fernando Alonso's a contender. Do you automatically give it to the world champion? Maybe. Vettel's second half of the year was really, really, really strong. Kimi Raikkonen's been bulletproof on consistency. Like I said, 19 out of 20 races he finished in the points. Only guy to finish every race this year. And then you got Fernando Alonso, who, pound for pound, was sensational to even get that Ferrari up there, but I don't think Ferrari was as bad as many people made out this year. I just think they had that qualifying pace. I think their race pace was always very good. But I would go Kimi Raikkonen, mainly because in his first season back, he's been out of the sport for 2 years. He's come back, he scored over 200 points. And like I said, he finished in the points 19 of 20 races. That's incredible consistency. And fair play to Kimi Raikkonen for coming back so strong. I mean, and he's got a good team to build around, so who knows what will happen with Kimi Raikkonen in the future. But I would personally vote Kimi. That's just me. Constructor of the Year, gotta be Red Bull. I mean, there's no argument here at all. They got, I mean, well, all the other teams in Formula One, I think they blew their load a little bit too early. I think McLaren and Ferrari showed their hand a little bit too fast, and then Red Bull always kept themselves in the mix early on, and then got better as the year went on. I mean, just when things were going absolutely down to the wire, What happens? Red Bull wins 4 in a row. Vettel takes 4 races in a row and they take a grip on the championship. That was tremendous from Red Bull, and they solved their qualifying problems as the season went on, and they went on to dominate. So I've got to go Red Bull on this one. Logically, it's the only response. I'm looking at the votes right now, and some of these are really close. So your vote could really swing things somewhere. I won't say who between, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Remember, you guys can vote until the 3rd of December at midnight. So that's British time, by the way. Overtake of the year. If it came down to importance, I would say Vettel on Button in Abu Dhabi was a really underrated pass around the outside of that chicane. But I think Kimi Raikkonen passing Michael Schumacher at 190 miles an hour through Eau Rouge, round the outside, in the ultimate game of chicken, on a 7-time world champion in Michael Schumacher, was outstanding. And that is a Kimi Raikkonen thing to do right there. So I would definitely go for him for overtake of the season. Breakout driver of the year. I think Sergio Perez is a big-time contender for that. I think Nico Hülkenberg is a name too. Pastor Maldonado would definitely do better in this if he didn't have such a terrible first half of the year. The first half of the year he was trash. People were calling for his license to be removed. He was getting involved in so many physical incidents. While at the same time, the second half of the year he calmed it down, he found his pace, and he did show some decent results. I think Bruno Senna still... talking about that for a minute, Bruno Senna's been cut for Valtteri Bottas for next season. I feel sorry for Bruno Senna. I think he deserved a spot on that team. I think he scored almost as many points as Pastor did. Remember, 25 of Pastor's total haul, which I think was 46, came from that one race win in Catalonia. But at the same time, Bruno Senna scored those points often qualifying outside of the top 10. And he would bring the car up. He had better race pace than Pastor did. Pastor would often sink from higher positions. So people don't seem to bear that in mind with Pastor Maldonado and the whole Williams situation. I think the whole thing's kind of unfortunate for Bruno, but it's the nature of Formula 1. Bottas is going to bring in more in advertising, and that's Pastor's team because of how much sponsor money he brings in. But at the same time, breakout driver of the year, I would personally give it to Sergio Perez, but his inconsistencies might give Nico Hülkenberg a shot. That's just how I see it. Hülkenberg was very consistent second half of the year, showed some real fire this year. The guy's always been really good, but he's never been given a fair shake, and that's just my opinion. The UJE Day Award has got to go to Romain Grosjean, in my opinion. The guy has had 9 first lap incidents. How is your awareness that terrible when you're in Formula 1? You know how starts work. You know they're going to be chaotic. Why even bother? It's like 9 times you tagged somebody on the first lap. He may have cost Alonso a world title because of the Spa incident where he took out 5 other cars. That was ridiculous. And, it's just one of those things. What can you say? Pastor was up there for his first half of the year. Narain Carter-K seemed to only be in Formula 1 to mess up other people's races, particularly Red Bulls for some reason. I think he was hired by Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, I put him in there because he doesn't know how to work a Twitter account properly. And Kamui Kobayashi because I needed a 5th guy. And he was kind of aggressive, and he had a few clashes earlier in the year as well, but one of the really, really close ones is individual driver this season, so I'm going to leave that one alone because I think the top 3 are all really, really close together on that one, as is the most surprising moment, so I'm going to leave those 2 alone. But race of the year, there's a clear landslide winner on that one, and I don't blame you guys for voting for that track. It's a bit of a samba track, if you know what I mean. But, that's about it for this one, really. Again, you guys have got until the 2nd of December to vote. Please keep voting. Nearly 200 of you have voted so far, so thank you all so much for the support. I'm glad you guys are liking the concept as much as I did. And in my head, it seemed like a really good idea, and I'm glad you guys seem to think so as well. So if you haven't voted already, please go right ahead. I know it's only one vote per computer, but if you haven't and you missed the first video, click on the link below. I'll put it in the description. That's the Harry Award voting ballot. Go vote. Have your say. It could make all the difference between the winner and the loser. And like I said, next week will be Harry Awards week, so you'll get a video every day for a week, or for 8 days actually. You'll see 8 consecutive days of a Harrison 101 video. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. I hope you guys vote well, and I will catch you guys later with some FIFA action. I've been Harrison 101. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.
Nice drive. You took 4 points. Congratulations. Well done.